Welcome, everybody, to episode 3 of Aggressively Speaking. My name is Tony Dabrowski.
I'm Troy Frank.
And welcome back to our podcast. So, first of all, we do have to apologize for not having an episode over the past couple of weeks. Troy and John actually just released an announcement video earlier today, and they talked about what's been going on. You know, we've all gotten sick, and it's pretty ironic because in the announcement video, Troy said that I've been perfect through everything, and now I'm sick today.
Yeah. Yep. As soon as we thought we were out of the water, we get pulled right back in.
But I'm going to tough it out today because there is a lot we need to talk about this week.
There is.
So,
by the way, if you do want to check out everything that did go wrong, it's on the YouTube channel that this YouTube video is currently posted on.
Isn't it titled like 2020 announcement?
Yeah.
Yeah, with a goofy thumbnail.
I like that thumbnail. It's pretty dope.
Funny.
I dig it. I dug it.
I spent like probably 3 minutes on it.
It's three minutes of pure creativity, though. I like it.
Kind of.
So, like I said, we have a lot to talk about. Troy has been wanting to talk about the college football playoff over these past few weeks, so we'll get into that today. We're going to do some Lions talk as well because their season is thankfully over and it's now draft talk, so that's interesting.
Yay.
But before we get to our first topic with the Pistons, I'm going to pat myself on the back here because I won our fantasy football league.
Yeah.
Yeah. The overpowered, my team makes
the
me
Patriots
drink machine.
win again. I mean, as good as your team has been for as long as I can remember. Well, unless that first season was pretty ass. But but I will say, this is only your second time winning in 4 years, which is
how many times have you won?
Once. What? I won the inaugural season.
I now got 2 rings, more than Drew Brees.
Oof.
All right, so I think that's enough fantasy talk because I know people hate it. Yeah, just wanted to pat myself on the back there. Also,
Here we go, addressing every fan complaint.
I just unscrewed my water.
Jessing every fan complaint.
So, yeah, let's get into the Pistons because they're, believe it or not, kind of the biggest story right now.
I mean, they are one of the only 2 teams playing at the moment, and they're the only team that's like in the middle of a very dramatic period of their rebuild, I would say, if they do go rebuild.
Well, I mean, the Red Wings are kind of doing their thing.
Yeah, they're just in the middle of a rebuild, though. I mean, the Pistons are at a breaking point.
Hey,
that's the difference.
Low key, though. I mean, I know you don't know anything about Red Wings hockey, but hey, they had a nice win last night. Philip Zadina, their first-round pick a couple years ago, got the game winner last night. Oh, it's beautiful.
Nice.
And
I mean, isn't that their second win in like 20 games?
I think it's their 11th win of the season, I think. They are historically bad. And we might not even get the number 1 pick because that stupid draft lottery.
I mean, do you think, knowing how bad the NHL draft lottery is, do you think the NBA's decision to make the first 3 picks equal, or the first 2 picks equal, and then the third pick like slightly less possible than the other 2, do you think that's a good move on their part, or do you think it was good to have it like 25% be the first pick and then like 12% for the second and third like they used to have it?
You know how I feel about the draft lottery in both sports. I think it's a complete joke. I mean, this year the Wings are like far and away the worst team in hockey. Like between them and I think the Devils, I believe, who are the second worst team in hockey, it's like a 12-point difference. Like it's that bad.
Jeez.
And yet we gotta rely on the ping pong ball falling the right way, which is completely stupid. But
I mean, I don't really see I guess it's to counteract the idea of tanking. But I mean, the ping pong balls have been around for like 30 years. Tanking wasn't a thing 30 years ago, or at least not publicly. I don't think so. I don't know why they're sticking with this old method of doing things. Like, I just think maybe just have the first 3 picks be a lottery. I think maybe that's the good thing to do, so that the team that's like the worst isn't, somehow stuck with the 6th pick in the draft.
Yeah, the Wings could fall to 4.
Yeah.
That's the worst they can do, which is still not bad, but it's also not good.
Yeah, that's
Like,
just like
especially in a year in which Alexis Lafreniere is like a generational type prospect. Like, he's getting compared to Wayne Gretzky, just to kind of give you a little non-hockey fan comparison. Like, Alexis Lafreniere is an absolute machine.
I mean,
like,
there's
if the Wings drafted him, their rebuild would be like that. It would be such a big move, but we might not even get him because of the stupid lottery.
There's
ball.
only like 2 players that I've ever heard get compared to basically the best player in the sport before they're even in the pros, and that's LeBron James and actually just the one player. I can't even think of another. Maybe Zion. But
Like, from a hockey standpoint, do you know who Connor McDavid is? With
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he used to be on the Flyers and
No.
or not the Flyers. It was
he's on
the Edmonton Oilers. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
there
He's
we
still
It
on
was
the
the other
Oilers.
orange team.
Yeah, he's still on the Oilers. People are saying he's a bigger prospect than Connor
I
McDavid.
thought he was. Did hear like trade rumors a couple years ago. I mean, that was
Connor
the last time I was
McDavid?
paying
Well,
attention,
that's when the
obviously.
Oilers were like awful.
And they didn't pull the trigger on that. I mean,
No, they didn't pull the trigger.
that's
But
maybe that's I don't know.
anywho, Alexis Lafreniere is a stud, and we might not even get him. Anywho, screw the draft lottery. Pistons.
But we will come back to the draft pretty soon. Here.
Yeah, once the draft lottery actually happens in May, it will be fun to talk about. The
Yeah.
stupid lottery balls. But yeah, Pistons. I mentioned this on Trash Talk earlier today. The reason I never really talked about the Pistons on my radio show is because there was nothing really to talk about throughout the first few months of the season. Like, they were really banged up, and they still are. And we'll talk about that in a
I
second.
thought you were
But
about to tell me it's because they're inept. I was about
well,
to say,
no, it's just that they've been banged up. They weren't playing good, and it was still really early on in the season. Like, there wasn't much to talk about with them early on in the season. Before the new year, I was on team be patient with the Pistons. Like, just kind of wait to see if they could get healthy. And then once the
At
new
like-
year comes...
At like 12 and 20, you were saying that?
Yeah, because it was still November. I was kind of like, let's see if they could get healthy and see where they can go. Well,
Okay.
now it's the new year, and there ain't no way in hell they're getting healthy.
Especially not
Blake-
with the opening salvo of Blake Griffin being on season-ending injury reserve.
Yeah, at the time we're recording this, it was yesterday on Tuesday that it was announced that Blake had left knee surgery. He's out indefinitely. He's out for the year. I mean,
Yeah.
there were some people tweeting at me. They're like, "Yeah, I did a Google search of the injury. It's like a 2 to 3 month recovery." So I'm like, so he'll be back in March.
If the Pistons,
He's done for the year.
If the Pistons have 23 wins in the middle of March, they're not going to bring him back.
He ain't coming back.
They better
regardless.
not, at least.
He ain't coming back regardless. So Blake is out indefinitely. Luke and Reggie died. Like, they were supposed to be reevaluated a couple weeks ago. We've heard nothing. Markieff Morris out of nowhere died. Like, his foot exploded, I guess.
I
So-
forgot Markieff Morris was even on the team. He's been that silent all year.
Well, he was doing good off the bench. He was even starting a few times because
You could say the same
Blake's
thing
injury.
about Thon Maker, but
No,
I
Fawn
digress.
is on a different planet. Let's be nice here. But like, yeah, I mean, the Pistons are obviously really banged up right now, and it's gotten to a point where we're at. With the point we are at in the season, there's no turning back. Like, they are not going to get healthy, and they're not going to be a good basketball team.
No.
So that has led them to look at selling at the trade deadline. And one of the names flown out there, it's been reported by Woj, is Andre Drummond. And if it's also being reported by guys like Woj and also Mark Stein that it is increasingly likely around the league that Andre will be traded by the February 6th trade deadline.
Now, I mean, let's dive into that a little bit. There are teams like the Hawks, the Raptors,
Celtics,
the
Mavericks.
Celtics, Mavericks, yeah.
People are saying
Who
the
do you-
Cavs are interested.
I don't see why they'd be interested. I mean, they got Tristan Thompson, but Tristan Thompson's looking to get out of there as soon as possible.
He just
But I
got
don't know why
posterized by our boy Sekou. But we'll talk about that in a second.
But I mean, I don't know why they'd go and
Tristan
just
Thompson's
replace
in the,
one with another. It doesn't really make sense.
Tristan
on there.
Thompson's in the grave already.
Yeah, he's just laying on that court still.
With Sekou looking down at him.
But I mean, if you were to really pick and choose where it would best suit for Andre to go, where would that be?
The best suitor are the Celtics because their biggest need is a center. They're throwing Menace Canner out there right now, and I feel like Andre would be the kind of the exclamation point to make them a real championship threat because you have Kemba, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Andre Drummond, Gordon Hayward. Like, Well, Gordon Hayward would probably be traded to the Pistons, but yeah, Andre Drummond would be like huge for that team. But
Do you think that's a realistic possibility, or is that
well, the
what
Celtics
you just
are
think is a good fit?
The Celtics are interested, so it would make sense. I think the Raptors would be interesting because,
You pair him with Siakam.
Kyle Lowry. Yeah, I think that'd be nice.
Yeah, I think that'd be probably my second favorite fit.
Low key though, I'd love to see Atlanta go after him.
I want to. That is my pick.
Trae Young pick and roll with Andre
You got Andre and John Henson down in the middle,
Collins.
or John Collins. Yeah, well,
John Henson.
John Henson. when was the last time his name got mentioned?
I remember him being on the Bucks like how many years ago? I don't even know if he's playing anymore.
He's playing shuffleboard with Larry. What was his name with the glasses? The old center for the Bucks, Larry something.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, Tony, you weren't a basketball fan when Larry was around. When my boy Larry.
Apparently not you either. You don't know his name.
Well, he was that bad. That's what I'm saying. But I at least remember his first name.
Okie dokie. Anywho, Andre Drummond's on the trade market. And if the Pistons do end up trading Andre, which I think they're probably going to, it would show signs that the Pistons are going to blow this thing up. Because despite popular belief, the Pistons do consider Andre Drummond one of their, quote, big three with Blake and Reggie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's the guy they built around.
Blake and Andre. Yeah, and Reggie.
Well, no, they didn't build around Blake. They didn't build around Reggie. They got those guys as a compliment to Andre. He was the main piece of the entire
But those
franchise.
are their, quote, big three.
Yeah.
I think it was Tom Gores that said, yeah, we have our big three of Reggie, Blake, and Andre. That's my point. Like, whether we agree with that or not, that's what the Pistons thought they had. And if and when they trade Andre, they'd be trading away one of their, quote, big three players, and it would signal we're punting the season and starting a little bit of a rebuild here, which what have Detroit sports fans been complaining about over the past decade with this basketball team?
You know what's really
Blow
upsetting?
it up. And now they're actually going to blow it up.
You know what's really upsetting? I look at that 2016 team and that starting five that they had with Reggie, Tobias, Marcus Morris, Andre Drummond, and who was the two? Wasn't it just any person that they could
KCP?
find in? Yeah, KCP. That's right.
Pay KCP. 5 years, $80 million.
Yeah, and then they had like freaking.
Imagine if we were stuck with that contract.
Oh my goodness. I mean, the Lakers got him now, so they can do with him what they want. But that 2016 team, if that team was still around today, that team would be a lot better than they actually were back then. I would say, other than Reggie being injured all the time.
Well, Reggie wouldn't be here; he'd be dead. KCP.
I mean, KCP. I think that change of scenery really messed with him because he was a lot better on the Pistons than he was on the Lakers, or than he is on the.
Well,
Lakers.
yeah. After he left the Pistons, excuse me, he kind of fell off. So
You think that was just a contractitis, where he gets a new big contract and then stops caring?
never got that big contract though.
You just said 5 years.
That's what the Pistons were going to offer him.
That's right.
They didn't actually offer
The Lakers
it.
just keep giving him like 1 year.
1 year,
contracts.
yeah, 1 year, like $12 million deals. But
He's like, fine. All right.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, Piston fans and Detroit sports fans have always been saying, "Hey, blow it up. It's not working." Now it looks like they're going to blow it up. So it's a pretty big talking
It
point
is
right
big.
now.
And I've actually been waiting for this since the end of that 2016 season. Because it's like, all right, they've hit their peak at 44 wins. What are they going to do now? And then they come back and win 38 games. Yep. Yep. And then, they trade for a superstar and break even. It's like this team was never destined to make it past like the 7th seed at tops. And I think, we've all been waiting for this moment. And I don't know if the Pistons front office is capable or even willing. I mean, I know they're trading.
Would you shop Andre if you weren't willing to do it?
Well, would you also be looking to shop Reggie and Derrick Rose?
You can't trade Reggie when he's hurt.
I mean, is he going to be hurt the entire time?
He was supposed to be reevaluated, and nothing happened. You can't trade Reggie. Like, you can't trade Blake. They're both hurt. But if you want to trade Langston or D.
Derrick
Rose, then yeah.
I haven't heard anything about Derrick Rose, though. You'd figure that, he's playing even better than I think Andre is at the moment. Wouldn't you be shopping him? Even more so than Andre at the moment?
I'm sure they are secretly, but Andre Drummond is the big name right now.
That's true.
So Langston's been a guy getting interest going back to like November because he's statistically one of the better 3-point shooters in the league right now.
But it's just you can't get away from that the memeing of Langston Galloway.
Langston's been balling out this season. We gotta be nice to him.
We do? I don't.
Yes.
I mean,
yes. We gotta be nice to him.
If you're balling out on a 12-win team or a 13-win team.
No. I was a Langston critic. He's balling out this year. We cannot bad talk Langston. Just because his team sucks doesn't mean we can't talk highly of him.
So do you think he has legitimate draft stock or trade stock?
Trade value, yes. He's statistically like top 2 in 3-point percentage in the NBA.
I would, yeah. Then he should be you should be in a trade package with Derrick Rose, I would say. Because those two guys, you trade them together to a team that needs shooting, and you got it. Period.
Get playmakers off the bench, yeah.
Yeah.
Call up the Lakers.
What are the Lakers going to give you?
Kyle Kuzma.
I don't want Kyle Kuzma.
Why not? He's a young piece to build around.
He's like in the same way
like 23.
In the same way that like guys that we got to build around Andre were young pieces. It's like, yeah, they're young, but they're pretty close to their peak already. I don't think Kyle Kuzma can get much better than he already is.
Okay.
Would you disagree?
We'll agree to disagree there. I think if you somehow trade for Kyle Kuzma, that'd be nice. I don't think it's happening, but anywho. We also do have to talk about Tom Gores.
Oh, boy.
Because he actually said something logical the other day. And
Did he?
It ties into this rebuild, In the Clippers game last week in Los Angeles, Tom Gores was there, obviously. He spoke to the media at halftime, and he was asked about the direction the team's in. He's like, yeah, I'm paraphrasing here, but he was like, yeah, I really don't want to be an 8th seed again. If we have to rebuild, or if we have to sit down and kind of reassess where everything's at. And he basically hinted at a rebuild. For Tom Gores to basically admit a rebuild might be the way to go,
that's saying a lot.
That's steps in the right direction for Tom Gores. It gave me reassurance that maybe he's not as bad as we think.
I think maybe he just needed the right people to talk into his ear. Maybe
and for
me saying that I don't trust that the Pistons management, maybe I should.
And for people that doubt Ed Stefanski and company, there you go.
Yeah.
Not only is Ed Stefanski drafted well here, the fact that Tom Gores is willing to possibly move off of Andre Drummond is huge.
It is. That's his boy. Andre. At the free throw line. Like, he doesn't need any more distractions.
That's what I'm saying, though. I mean, it's big steps for Mr. Gores. And if the Pistons blow this thing up, I mean, it'll have to be a wait-and-see thing if they actually do it. But if they do it, this is what everyone wanted.
So, what's realistic, do you say? The third worst team in the league? Fourth? I mean, where are they at now? We're at fourth? Fourth worst team?
No, they're like 7th or 8th.
Oh, okay. The loss. And if they would have got a
the
loss.
The Hawks, Warriors, and Knicks are like god-awful.
Yeah.
They don't even have 10 wins, I think.
I think if you're in the 4th spot in the draft lottery, I think that's actually probably one of the best spots to be.
If you just get in the lottery, period, you'll have a shot.
I know. I'm just saying, like, realistically, they never give the first pick to the worst team, it seems like.
That's why I'm worried about the Red Wings, but...
Yeah, and I think 4 is probably the best spot you want to be in the NBA lottery. Because it seems like every time that you're 4, they move you into the top 3. At least. If not the first pick. Which is, I think an Anthony Edwards or a Cole Anthony would be pretty nice on this rebuild.
They need a point guard.
Yeah, so a Cole Anthony or a LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo Ball, the kid from Arizona, RJ Hampton. I mean, any point guard would be nice.
That would be nice.
It would give people a reason to watch this team. Along with, perfect transition, Sekou Doumbouya. Sekou is a guy that you were very critical on.
I'm not saying I'm going to be
You
critical.
called him a Pistons Twitter. What did
They
you?
slobbered all over
There
him
you go. There you go.
without reason. I think this last game gives you reason. I think
Not
it's
just
a nice.
this last game. He started. Dwayne Casey threw him into the Wolves against the Clippers. Okay, everyone was like, "What is Dwayne Casey doing?" Sekou went from playing 2 minutes of garbage time to starting against Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers. Sekou got double-double against them, played really well defensively against the Clippers, or against Kawhi Leonard. Against the Warriors and Draymond Green, Sekou balled out, was like 4 of 7 from deep. Against the Lakers, again, double figures points-wise, and he held his ground defensively against LeBron James. And then last night against the Cavs, again, double figures points-wise, caught a body, put Tristan Thompson in the grave, and he's giving Piston fans a reason of hope. And that's
No.
what they need right now.
Just to be, just to basically play devil's advocate with what you're saying. And I mean, his offensive numbers speak for themselves. But defensively, isn't this kind of the same thing we were talking about with Stanley Johnson in his rookie year?
Stanley's number one thing was defense.
Yeah.
And his biggest flaw was offense.
Yeah.
Sekou's doing well offensively and defensively.
No, yeah, and I'm saying his offensive numbers speak for themselves. His defense, I mean, Stanley started waning with how well he played defensively in some games. Whether, like, you know,
Are you comparing Sekou to Stanley?
I'm comparing defensively them.
You better watch your words.
I mean,
Sekou is not Stanley Johnson.
Stanley had one of the better defensive performances in the 2016 playoffs.
Sekou Doumbouya is the youngest player in the NBA, 19 years old, and he's holding his ground against 4 of the best players in the world: Kawhi, Draymond, LeBron. Kevin Love's not.
You're
Kevin
throwing
Love.
Draymond in there pretty easily. I don't like that.
Well, Draymond Green's going to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's not some slouch.
I don't know about. I mean, his number might get put in the rafters at Oracle. I don't know about.
Okay, Troy. Draymond Green's a Hall of Famer, but like if you disagree there, fine, but he's still a good NBA player.
Yeah.
And Sekou held his ground against him, like he did LeBron and Kawhi. And Kevin Love, I think wants he wants out of Cleveland. Who knows how hard he's trying, but like Sekou at 19 years old is putting up double doubles, 4 straight games, double points figure.
And I'll say this for a third time: his offense does speak for itself. I think that's the difference between him and Stanley Johnson. I'm just saying, defensively, you can't just like say from 4 games, you know, his defense is always going to be there. Just looking at I know it's kind of, it's like, you know, worrisome to say. Like, you just look at the history of the way that these small forwards play. I mean,
He's
you
a
look
small
at
forward / power forward, but continue.
I know. I mean, yes, but Stanley also played a little bit of power forward when he was starting out too.
You're really comparing Stanley Johnson to Sekou
I'm comparing them
Doumbouya.
defensively. Sekou is a way better offensive player than Stanley Johnson. I don't know how many times I need to tell you this, Tony. They're not the same player. I'm saying defensively, you
Then
just
why are
can't.
you making the comparison? What is the point of your argument?
The last time I'm just saying Stanley Johnson's where you don't want to be. There was so much hype for him coming
Who's
into the
saying
season.
he's Stanley Johnson?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying we gave Stanley Johnson a lot of hype, just like we did to Sekou. And I'm saying
So you're going to sit here right
that
now and
is
act
the-
like you're not. Hold on, shut up. You are going to sit here and act like you're not like saying like, wow, Sekou actually looks pretty decent.
He does look decent. I'm not saying he's not, Tony. I'm not saying that. You're putting words into my mouth.
Then why are you comparing?
I'm saying don't fall into this like full-on hype train of Sekou. Let him play a lot more games before you go like defining him in any one category.
Who said we're defining him? I'm just saying he's looking really good defensively.
And I'm just saying, don't like, yeah, yes. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm just saying Stanley Johnson is the worst case scenario, and you always got to keep that in your mind when you're talking about how good Sekou is right now. Is that unfair to say?
I think it's a little unfair to Sekou, who's 19 years old, and
So was Stanley.
oh my god, I think it's a little unfair to Sekou to just instead of giving him props for looking really good in his first 4 career starts to be like,
He did.
well, you know,
He has.
Stanley Johnson looked pretty good too, and you look how that ended up.
I'm just.
I think
looking
that's a
at
little.
how
I think that's a
much-
little Mike Valeni of you, honestly. That sounds like something Mike Valeni would say. Yeah, you know, Sekou's looking good, but so does Stanley Johnson as a rookie. Look how that ended up.
You're too entrenched in Pistons Twitter. It sounds like.
I can't be excited for the future of Sekou.
No,
after
you
looking-
can. You just need to temper it. He's only played 4 games.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I also feel like when he's looked this good in his first 4 games, it should give fans a little bit of excitement for the future. Because if you don't have Sekou, what do you talk about this Pistons team? Savi Mihailuk? Bruce Brown?
Luke.
Luke's dead.
For now. I mean, people come back all the time from these injuries now. At this point,
He's got knee tendonitis. Look how that has ended up with guys like Reggie and Blake.
Okay. I mean, are you giving up on Luke? Is that what it sounds like?
That's not
Kinda
at
giving
all.
up on
That's
Blake.
not at all what I said.
Well, I mean, you're lumping him in with Blake and Reggie now, with how injury prone those guys are. That's kind of sounds like what you're doing with me and Sekou.
If we're going to be real here, Luke Kennard has been a little injury prone in his time here, but I'm not throwing him out the trash. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying what would we be talking
I'll try
about?
And bring him up as far as like
Hold on a second.
Pistons future.
Hold
no,
on.
you can't just interrupt me and then
was gonna
not
say,
allow
Tony,
me
you
to
gotta
interrupt
relax.
him. Like you can't like downgrade Luke from being like part of our future when you know.
I never said he isn't part of our future.
I bring him up and you're like, well, let's be honest, he's dead right now, and it's like, well,
He
he's
is.
still part of our future.
He is.
Continue.
I was asking you, what would we be talking about if Sekou wasn't doing what he's doing right now? A dead Luke Kennard?
We'd be talking about like a full rebuild, not building around a player.
From a hope standpoint,
we'd be
Sekou gives fans hope because of how well he's looked in these first 4 games.
Okay. And I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. I just think, I mean, that dunk was really nice. He's been playing really nice. You just got to keep in mind how certain things trend. People start off pretty hot until there's a scouting report. He might cool down. And then what? When he cools down, are you guys going to be all about how he's going to be this, like, top guy to build around for the future? You just need to keep that in mind when you're going forward.
Did you just kind of hint that he might not be a guy to build around?
I'm just saying you need to keep that in mind. I'm not saying he is or isn't.
I can't believe this topic of Sekou turned into this.
Well, that's how I've been about the hype surrounding Sekou.
Yeah,
it's
and
very
when
tempered.
he
He's very
actually-
green. He's very raw. You need to be patient with him. You can't immediately.
We are being patient with him, but when he's looking really good, I at least expected you to be like, yeah, he's looking really good.
And have I not said that, John? Have I not said that? Like, this guy's looking pretty good.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Kind of sounded like that. Not that I'm backing you up, just kind of that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, I'm just asking for your honest opinion. Like, if
From what I've been listening and my little knowledge, kind of sounded like that, yeah.
yeah, I don't think I've been not saying that. I'm just telling you.
But then you instantly compared him to Stanley Johnson.
I'm saying there was hype for Stanley Johnson. Stanley Johnson turned out to be a dud. Just be aware that these guys do go cold, and there are no scouting reports that are based off of how he does against NBA players on him yet. The only thing that you know is he had pretty good games against these good players in the first 4 games of his career.
I'm surprised that's not like a bigger emphasis point. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James,
Yes.
Draymond Green. He was doing really well defensively against them. And then offensively, double-double, double-double, double figures points-wise, double figures points-wise. Like, he's not looking bad.
He's not. I've think I've said that enough time. I think I've agreed with you enough here for you to say that I'm not downing him at all. I'm just telling everybody, as far as their hype is concerned, to be a little bit more cautious. Stop slobbering is what I'm saying.
If Sekou turns into like the player I think he can,
There's nothing to apologize if that's what you're saying. There's nothing to apologize
comparing
about.
him to Stanley Johnson and saying he could be a dud like Stanley.
I'm saying
that's pretty bold.
I'm not saying. I'm saying that's the worst case scenario. I think every player that you draft has a worst case scenario of being a dud. I don't think that's at all. That's,
so like look at like
that'd be the same thing with like drafting Zion. Worst case scenario, he's Anthony Bennett.
So like look at Ja Morant. I'm not comparing Sekou to Ja Morant, but he's balling out right now. You think Memphis fans are like, yeah, he's doing really good right now, but we should calm down? No, Ja Morant's going to win Rookie of the Year. Like it's okay to be really
but he's
hyped.
been playing all season, and he's
But it's still the same thing. He's balling out, and you don't see Memphis fans going like, well, we should probably be cautious.
Yes, because it's not November 1st. Which is like the fourth game that they played. If they were saying that, it's okay, he's fine. He's best rookie in the league. At 4 games into the season, yeah, that'd be a little worrisome as a Memphis Grizzlies fan. I think you guys are you're at 4 games into the season, he's looking pretty good. That's all you need to say about him at the moment. I don't think there's anything.
Have you watched his 4 games?
I watched last night.
The whole game?
Not the whole game. About 3/4.
There. That's probably the reasoning.
Oh my God. Don't use that.
I was like, that was kind of annoying.
That was really annoying to me.
I did think it was kind of funny, though.
Like, I feel like if you watched him more, you might have a different opinion.
Okay.
I feel like you have it out for Sekou in a way.
I'm not
like,
having
what
it
is
out.
your...
My problem with him is the fans of Sekou that like immediately don him as the next coming of Giannis.
When you watched his tape coming out of France,
Yeah, here we go. You are one of them. That's why. That's why. But okay.
So what would you say to people other than what you said already? Is there anything else you want to say to people like me who are thinking Sekou could be like something special?
I'm saying give him the rest of the season before you go making claims like that.
That's fine.
I'm glad we agree. And you're not just immediately staking claim to him 4 games into the season. Let's, all right, if you agree with that.
Is it fair for me to say I think through 4 games, he's looked really good and he's giving fans a little bit of hope for the future? Is that fair to say?
A little bit. Yes, that's fair. Okay. I'm glad we argued just to agree.
That's what I was confused on.
Well, no.
I was like, what the hell did this just lead to? Just a dead end.
It was a very rigid circle.
A dead end with a handshake.
I still think bringing up Stanley Johnson's name is a little ridiculous, but... Oh, my
Troy,
God.
we're not talking about that today. Unless you want to, I'll go there.
That's why I covered my mic and said it to you.
Enough.
Just mute it.
Enough with you two.
Tell me you don't want it.
I don't need any of that. But we got this hanging up here.
Yeah, because it's a real clown show.
Yeah.
Real clown show
It's a
today.
real clown show today. I'm looking at the biggest one I know.
Oh, God.
If you want some side notes, I just texted Tom Murphy. I was like, yo, some real headbutting on this week's episode. I was like, make sure you tune in.
Tom hates my sports opinions. So
I know.
he'll
Tom.
instantly agree with Troy.
Welcome to the team, Tom.
Oh, Tom's involved now. No, that's not what we're trying to do.
Tom hates my sports takes. Like, he always goes, I'm always right, you're always wrong, and you'll never admit that.
I've heard
'cause
it.
You think I'm superior than you.
I've heard it. I don't know who's right, and I love it because like I can just observe and not have an opinion, which is like the best. But yeah, just seeing this, I was like, well, I know Tom also has an opinion, so I just texted him.
Oh, God. All right.
Yeah, when we get Tom on the podcast, I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be 10 times worse.
You
than
guys
that.
should. If we could get that to happen, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I could talk to him. I could probably talk to him.
Yeah, Tom, we want you on the podcast.
Unless he thinks he might go off. He might get violent, and that might be what we need.
And I'll stay silent and watch.
Tony, you're an idiot. I'm always right. You're always wrong, and you'll never admit that because you think you're superior than me. You have your own radio show, you have your own podcast, and you always speak some bullshit.
For the last 5 minutes, I would agree.
Okay, Tom.
Let's go right back
For
into
the
this.
last 5 minutes.
The
all
dead
right?
end sign has just been torn down, and now it's onto a highway. It's now an on ramp.
They just laid down some cement and you can drive over it now.
It's an on ramp in the wrong direction.
All right. Other than Sekou, let's talk about Pistons' future. What they can do from here off season. If they go into the rebuild, they obviously get rid of Reggie. I don't think you re-sign him or
Reggie's expiring. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Langston's off the books. Josh
Drummond's
Smith is
gone.
off the books.
Yeah, Josh Smith is finally off the books. Holy shit. I forgot that was a thing that we were paying him. How much money is it a year?
Too much.
Like a
Too
million
much.
and a half?
Too much.
Paying him a minimum contract.
No, just see where it goes. Like, just take it day by day. Trade Andre. Maybe see if you can trade Langston, D. Rose, and just see where the lottery treats you.
I know Blake has a player option to go into 2022. Do you look for...
He will take that.
Yeah. Do you look for trade options next year?
Well, if he's healthy, yeah. But
Well, even in the offseason? Like if he's...
no, you can't trade him in the offseason. Who's going to take him? Coming off another knee surgery, no one's going to take him.
Maybe a team that's looking to get rid of some old players that...
No, you don't trade a guy like Blake Griffin just to kind of like get the salary off your books. Like, you got to try to get something back for him. And you won't be able to do that this offseason.
Okay. Well, there we go. I just wanted to see where your thoughts were on that, because I thought that's maybe something that they could do maybe at the beginning of the season next year.
No, at best, you have to wait till the trade deadline to see if Blake's healthy and what he's doing.
Yeah. I'd say next year the best thing to do with Blake is to maybe start him every couple games, and I think just to take it easy, make sure he doesn't blow out a knee again, and hopefully he plays well enough to warrant some trade value. I think that'd be the best thing they do with Blake going forward.
Tony, I told you that last year, and you didn't listen to me because you're always right, I'm always wrong.
Is that like his famous quote? Is Tony, you're always wrong, and I am always
He
right?
probably started
Tom
off...
texted me yesterday and said, I was right, you were wrong, but you'll never admit that.
You know what? I kind of like that. Not that I agree with him, but I do kind of like that approach. Just totally being completely confident.
and speaking for Tony in an argument.
And it's not really that aggressive. It's just kind of a really strong opinion.
It's more passive aggressive than anything.
It's almost fact.
Like, I've known Tom for too many years. Like, I know what his facial expression was when he was typing that.
That's how a good
smug.
rivalry works.
He was angry. I don't hate Tom. I love Tom.
Well, rivalries can be built on love.
I don't have a rivalry with Tom.
Wait, you clearly do.
Sounds like you do.
That's clearly a rivalry.
No.
You can love Tom and have a rival. I love Tom. I'll have a rivalry with him. No problem. Why not?
I got no beef
You'll
with
just
Tom.
start a rivalry to prove a point to Tony.
I'll start a rivalry to prove a point. Why not? I love rivalries. They're just fun. You guys can keep going.
The worst I do with Tom is just bust him up in basketball.
Oh God, that's where it started, John.
It all started
As he's watching this,
on the court.
As he's watching this, he's rolling his eyes as we speak.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
you do know that's exactly
Nothing
where
wrong
it
with
started. If Tony and if Tony and Tom didn't play basketball together, they would not be this aggressive with each other about sports.
We probably wouldn't be friends if we didn't play basketball during the summer almost every day.
Oh Christ.
They even got matching haircuts though.
Matching tank tops.
He stole the bald cut, and then he's like, Yeah, man, I dig this bald cut, and then you look at me.
Nah, he has a Daniel Craig cut now. He's just totally fully embracing it.
I haven't seen him in a couple
Daniel
months.
Craig cut.
He's got a Daniel Craig face, and then now he's just got the full blown Daniel Craig haircut too. Now
Daniel Craig face. That's a little far.
I hope.
Well, I guess he gets a lot of people. Okay, this is now Tom Murphy news.
I hope Tom enjoys his
He's gonna love this episode.
I hope he's gonna love and hate this episode because of what I've said and what we're saying together.
Oh, this is all my fault. Tom Murphy, I am sorry. I did not mean to bring you into this.
If you want to discuss Tom more, Tony, go ahead. I'm over it.
Yeah, let's take a left turn onto the on ramp.
Tom, love you.
We all love you, Tom.
But all right, enough Pistons talk. I'm done.
I thought I turned it on airplane mode. Why am I still getting texts?
So let's go from one depressing Detroit sports team to another. The
Just
Lions.
any of them pick a team. Yeah, Lions. All right. Now we can talk about actual drafting instead of just speculating about it with the Pistons.
Yeah, so last time we talked, it was before the Packers game. Obviously, as we all know, the Lions screwed around, almost won that game, but they didn't. They lost, and here we sit today with the number 3 pick in the draft. Very, very sexy.
It's very Lions of them to actually do something right and still get screwed.
They didn't get screwed. They lost that game.
No, I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about losing out, which is what they should have done, and still not getting the second pick.
Well, yeah, thanks to the tie in Arizona. If they would have lost that game and not tied, they would have had the second pick.
It's that good old Lions luck.
Oh boy. So, yeah, they got the 3rd pick, and now the question really becomes, who do they take? Now, obviously, we still got a long way to go until the draft. We still got to wait till the scouting combine and pro days and the Senior Bowl, which the Lions are coaching in, by the way, and to see how these prospects do.
Yeah.
You know, do the Lions take a Jeff Okudah out of Ohio State? Do they take Derek Brown out of Auburn, D tackle? Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson? Or do they take Tua Tagovailoa out of Alabama?
Or, I mean, do they finally get lucky and the first 2 teams take a quarterback?
Washington's not taking a quarterback.
I'm just saying. What do they finally do? What if the Lions finally get lucky and then they end up with Chase Young?
I would be very, very shocked if they somehow landed Chase Young. I would be here for it, but I'd be so shocked. Washington right now is absolutely taking Chase Young.
Yeah. I mean, is there any possibility that
they could trade out of the pick?
No, is there any possibility that
like a team like Miami at 5 could trade up to 2 and just give a haul to Washington and they could trade back? But you don't pass on Chase Young. You just don't.
I mean, other than the Ohio story, is there any chance that the Bengals take Tua?
No, Joe Burrow's the pick.
You think 100%? You don't even think they would go
I
Chase
bought
Young?
this shirt just for Joe Burrow and Coach O. Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Tell them about JoJo.
Tell them about JoJo. I'm Coach O. No, they're taking Joe Burrow. It just makes too much sense. He won the Heisman. I think he is the best quarterback prospect in this draft. And I think in an offensive system with Zach Taylor, Cincinnati's head coach, he will be fine. But no, Joe Burrow's the pick.
Now I'll tell you the most hilarious future outlook for the Lions.
Hilarious?
Yeah, hilarious. Trade Matthew Stafford to the Patriots for Tom Brady.
Get out.
Draft Tua. Have Tom Brady coach Tua.
Get out.
And then next year trade down no matter what pick you have in the first round.
They're not trading Matthew Stafford.
I know. I'm just saying.
Tom Brady better not come here. No. I hate it. I hate that idea. No.
Isn't Brady's contract done? I don't think they can train him.
He's a free agent.
Trade him.
He's a free agent.
Trade him anyway.
And,
after this season?
He's a free agent after this season. There's a lot of speculation that he's out. So, we'll see.
I don't think... I mean, does New England re-sign him?
He ain't coming here.
Does New England re-sign him?
I don't know. The way it ended, I don't know.
I don't know. I think maybe Robert Kraft thinks they just need to retool the defense or something.
The offense, not the defense.
I'm just saying. Like, whatever they need other than Tom Brady, we need to fix it.
They need wide receivers that could create separation.
That's true.
But
now that they don't have Gronk anymore or, the likes of, like, a Amendola or anything. Yeah, they do need those kind of guys
Yeah, it
to
was
still make Tom Brady worthwhile.
it was a tough year for the Patriots. Boo hoo. Anywho, yeah, to Tua or not to Tua? Do you take Tua number 3 overall?
It would be a very complicated mess if you do. But I'm in love with the idea.
Oh God.
Like I said, it's
Why?
it's very complicated, but I've always been on the idea that I'm just gonna shut my phone off. It's always been on
The look on his face when it went off made me laugh. Like I didn't care at first, but he was just like,
I heard it and my toes curled.
no, I think I'm not in love with the full ramifications of drafting a quarterback, especially like with this regime. Like, they can't mess up.
they're in a
this
win
point.
now
They're
situation.
in a win now situation. They can't be drafting it like basically a rebuild.
Would you draft for the future if you don't know you'll be here to see the future?
Exactly. But if, let's say, it was the first year of a regime, I'd be 100% on board with it.
Yeah, if the Lions did the right thing and fired Quinn Trisha, then I could be like, listen, I love Matthew, but F it.
Is that
Take
the
Tua.
breaking point for you with drafting Tua? We still have
If they would have
Quinn
done-
Trisha here still.
If they would have fired Quinn Trisha, they would have had to rebuild. And at that point, I would want to see Matthew go through another rebuild here.
Not at 31, 32 years old.
No, just in general, like, he doesn't deserve that.
No, yeah. But I'm even saying that rebuild might take a couple years, and by the time you're ready, he's like 33, 34.
We've talked about this with Quinn Trisha. Rebuild's better than this. I mean,
Yeah.
this is awful, but they'll be back next year.
I think if just keep Quinn Trisha on, you'll be unintentionally rebuilding for a couple years.
Oh, God. Trust the process.
Yeah, just unintentionally. Well, we'll get him next year. 2 and 14. I mean,
9 and 7 isn't good enough. 6 and 10, 3, 12 and 1. Trust the process.
2 and 14, 3 and 13, 2 and 14. It's okay. We're just getting top 3 picks. We're gonna stash them.
But yeah, I wouldn't take Tua, not to kind of interrupt what we were trying to say, but I wouldn't take Tua because of what you just said. Like, why would you draft for the future if you don't know you'll be here to see the future? Like, that's not a win now move to take Tua and sit him behind Matthew Stafford. That's not win now.
I think, if you're looking at it, take GMs and coaches out of the equation. I think Tua would be a smart move for the future of this organization. But it's the Lions. They haven't made smart moves in 50 years, 60 years. And there's still a regime in place that would not allow a rookie quarterback to come in. It's not the realistic move, but it's a move I'd love to see them make. I think that's where my stance is on it.
I still think Stafford has like 5 good years left in him.
I don't think so. I think that maybe he's taken enough time to fully heal, but I don't know.
If Stafford says he's fine, I'll believe him.
Yeah, Tony Romo said he was fine though too.
Tua says he's fine. People still got concerns about his hip. I mean,
yeah, but younger guys get over injuries a lot easier. I mean, Matthew Stafford started his season with an injury.
I'm not pointing at you specifically, but like there are people that are talking like Matthew's some dinosaur. Like he's only 32 or 31 or whatever. Like it's not terrible.
He's got one of those injuries that do hinder an older quarterback's career.
He's not older though. That's my point.
He's 31. 30. That's
when I think of today's NFL, old is like Brady, like over 40 and still playing.
Brady is such an outlier though.
Brady's slowing down though.
I mean, yeah, but he's old. He's like older than old. He's like kicker old.
Look at all these quarterbacks in the NFL. They're like, yeah, I want to play till I'm like over 40.
They just want to be Brady, but they can't. Brady was so good when he was in his prime that him at 42 is still better than like the bottom half of the league.
From what I saw before the injury, if Stafford can be 75% healthy by the start of next season, I think he'll be fine. I do see your point that the back injuries concern you. That's fair. But again, when the regime seats are on fire, you can't take a rookie quarterback that you'll sit for the rookie year.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. Well,
Yeah, you're right.
what would be smart for the Lions to do is trade out of that third pick with a team that needs a quarterback, get an extra second round pick or something.
I don't trust Bob Quinn with a second round pick. I think it's very clear. He can't do anything with those second round picks.
Well, I mean, outside of Jelani Tavai, I'll agree with you.
Yeah. I mean,
Jelani Tavai is a nice pick. But, yeah, Ashawn, who probably won't be here next year.
carry on. You're
I
not
will
willing to lump him in yet?
No, I was about to say this. I love Carry On, but I am worried about him.
Yeah.
You want to talk about
a person? He's a great person.
You want to
He's
talk
hilarious on Twitter.
You want to talk about someone who can't stay healthy? That's a guy who had injury issues going back to Auburn.
Yeah.
And 2 years in the NFL, 2 season-ending injuries.
What is it with Lions and specifically picking the running backs that have injuries in the?
It sucks too because Carry On is such a beast when he's healthy.
Yeah, he is. He
But-
is. He's really nice. He was good for my fantasy team for about 5 weeks.
That's why I'm one of the people that thinks you have to take a running back high, but Bo Scarborough.
Yeah. Was he undrafted?
The Lions picked him up off the street like week 6 or something.
Yeah. He was a.
Bo Scarborough's nice, but like
He's like a new version of what's his name, the backup behind Kevin Smith and Ward 44, the guy that went to Wayne State.
Drake Bell.
No, Drake Bell. Yeah, you said Drake Bell. That's Drake and Josh.
I said
I swear you said Drake Bell. Never mind, forget it. But yeah, you're right.
no, I know it's not Drake Bell. Like literally from Drake and Josh. No. No, I mean Bo Scarborough's nice, but I don't think he's like a number 1. Like there are people on Twitter that are like, yeah, Carry On's 1A, Bo's 1B. I'm like, settle down now. He's
Yeah,
a good 2. He's a good 2.
Like I said, he's Drake Bell. I mean, you've seen what the Lions could do when they had Drake Bell as their number 1, and it ain't much.
Yeah, I agree there. But I get your point with Bob Quinn. Do I trust him with the 3rd overall pick? No.
I don't trust him with a second round pick either. I don't trust him with 3 second round picks. I think he could just draft.
Is it crazy for me to say I trust him more with day 3 picks than I do day 1?
Oh, for sure. I think he's really...
He has found some nice gems on days 2 and 3. You know
what?
Kenny Galladay in the 3rd round,
his-
Tracy Walker in the 3rd round, Graham Glasgow, Jamal Agnew in the 5th round or
He's the
something.
5th, yeah.
AO with the 5th round last year. Like he's found some really good day 2, 3 prospects. It's the 1st round that's just like
First and second. I still
Yeah.
put in the second because he's only hit on one guy out of 4 years.
I think we talked about this before, but look at look at Bob Quinn's 1st round draft picks, Taylor Decker. He's had his ups and downs. Like this past season, statistically, he's actually been really good, but the eye test will be like,
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see the quarterbacks get absolutely pummeled like they
No.
have in years past.
no. Taylor Decker, he's been up and down.
Yeah.
Had a good rookie year, down 27 and 18, and then this year
And
he kind of played well.
Is it too much to say that outside of the running game, the offensive line was okay?
It was okay, but then again, Bob Quinn's going to let one of his best old linemen walk this offseason in Graham Glasgow, which I don't understand whatsoever. Graham after week 17 was like, yeah, I wish I felt wanted here, but it's whatever. It's Bob.
Oh, just that alone makes him a target because, he spoke out. Can't have that.
Yeah. But anywho, Taylor Decker, up and down. Next year will really determine if he gets that second contract with the Lions. Jared Davis, I doubt he gets a second contract.
I mean, I'm kind of upset that I was right about Jared Davis. I was really hoping to be proved wrong with him.
What did you say about him?
I thought he was the lesser of the... I mean, obviously he wasn't because Reuben Foster kind of...
Reuben Foster's a bad human being. They were never taking
he's
Reuben
a terrible
Foster.
human being, but
Yeah.
at the time he was the lesser of the 2 linebackers, I would say.
Yeah,
coming out
but
of
they
the
were never
draft.
taking Reuben Foster.
Yeah, and I
Like I
mean,
said, bad human being.
I think if you look at him and Reuben Foster, I think you just don't pick a linebacker that season. But they did, and I thought he wasn't that great, and he turned out to be not that great.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but they could have taken a linebacker, TJ Watt.
That's true.
I low-key wanted TJ Watt. I didn't think he'd be this good, but I low-key wanted TJ Watt just because of his last name. Seriously, I wanted TJ Watt just because of his last name. I didn't think he'd blow up like he has.
Well, hindsight is great. I don't think what year was that draft? Was that
17.
Patricia's rookie season as coach?
His call was last year.
Okay, yeah. So they were still running a 4-3. He ran a 3-4.
Daryl Austin was still here.
Yeah. He wouldn't have fit in scheme-wise.
No.
So, I mean, yeah, hindsight's great. TJ Watt would have been amazing, but we didn't have the scheme at that point in time to run him.
That's a guy. Looking back at it now, you just draft him and fit him somewhere. But anywho, 18. I will give you this. Frank Ragnow, excellent first-round pick.
Yep.
He is far and away their best offensive lineman.
Yeah.
He is someone, after year 2, you're giving him a second contract.
Oh, for
no
sure.
No question. And then my guy, TJ Hawkinson, last year. I still like Hawk a lot, and I think he'll be a good player, but his rookie season blowed. There's no other way around it.
When he did catch the ball, he looked pretty dynamic on the field.
I'm glad you said that. They didn't throw him the ball.
Yeah.
And the Lions literally admitted that in their end of season press conference. Bob Quinn was like, "Yeah, we gotta get him and Jesse James more involved." It's like, how do you
Jesse
pay
James all season?
How do you pay Jesse James all that money and take Hawk number 8 overall and then not use him?
At least Jesse James was healthy. You just didn't use him regardless. It's like, my goodness, what?
I thought he was about to speak.
No, I was just moving the mic.
Yeah, that Hawk guy.
All right, turn your mic up.
But yeah, like 1 first-round draft pick actually. 1.5 first-round draft picks hit out for Bob Quinn.
In
like
4
I said,
seasons.
Like I said, Taylor Decker's kind of a question mark. 2 good years, 2 bad years. Jared, forget it. And then Hawk, really bad rookie year.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, that'll next season. I mean, obviously it's their do or die year, but it'll also prove whether or not they hit on TJ.
I can't believe they got another year.
Isn't it just disgusting? Doesn't it really make you just want to throw up?
I knew they were going to bring them back, but like it's still
It didn't sink in.
When I got the news, I was just like, oh, come on, dude. Why?
It really hurts to think about. Like, we got to deal with Quinn Trisha for a whole nother season.
Do you think there's a realistic option that they do you
Can
think
mid-season?
Do you think there's actually a realistic opportunity that they'll actually turn this around?
I think it's
Right here, right now, on January 8th or whatever it is.
You're asking the wrong person. I think even if they do hire the right coach and the right GM, my mind goes 4-12 because it's the Lions.
Oh, God. If they go 4-12 next year and, like, let's say Stafford gets hurt again, then we'll be looking back at passing on Tua as, like, a big-time mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, you can't take Tua in a win-now season.
Yeah, you can't take Tua under the situation that the Lions have presented themselves with. I think if, they would have done the right thing, Tua would have been the perfect pick.
Yeah, like I said, if the Lions fired Quinn Trisha, then you could have taken Tua and sat behind Stafford for a year, but they didn't do that. They're in a win-now season. And when you're in a win-now season, you can't make moves like that.
My goodness. So, like, what? You draft an offensive lineman, you draft a wide receiver.
Not 3rd overall. No.
So you go Jerry Jeudy?
No. They got to go defense with, like, at least their first 4 or 5 picks. The defense was a complete disaster. You could agree with me on that.
Yeah, it was.
Like, look at the wild card games this past weekend. I don't know if you watched them or not, but the 4 teams that won a wild card weekend: Houston, Tennessee, Minnesota, and Seattle.
You want to know what people aren't? Sorry, go ahead.
They won those games because their defense made some huge plays. Yeah. Defense wins championships. But anywho,
you want to know what people are talking about the hiring of like Judge as the coach of
that disastrous hire. Yeah.
Or what's his name for the Panthers?
I like Matt Rule.
Yeah, Matt Rule. He's pretty sweet. I don't like the contract that they signed him to.
Well,
that's
when you think about it. I mean, Matt Rule, he probably would have gotten a fat ass contract from the Giants too. Yeah. He was born in New Jersey or the New York area, so.
Didn't they interview him and then he just?
He was supposed to interview with the Giants that day, but the Panthers' report is they literally would not let him leave the building. They liked him that much. They're like, we're doing this now. We're not letting you go to New York, which is smart.
Yeah,
They got their guy. God bless.
Well, they did throw a truckload of money at him.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
And signed him for damn near a decade, which is
when John Gruden got all that money a couple years ago. We were like, man, what are the Raiders doing? Raiders aren't looking too bad right now.
Yeah,
I mean they missed the playoffs, but he's farther along in the Raiders rebuild than Patricia is here.
Yeah, for sure. We should have signed John Gruden.
Oh God. There were some reports when John Gruden was available that the Lions were going to go after him because that was when they fired Caldwell.
Yeah.
I'm just like, shut up.
Shut
They're
up.
not going after John Gruden. Get out of
You
here.
didn't think he wanted to work with the turkey hole?
Turkey hole? No way. He's mentioned before he loves Matthew Stafford, but no way.
He loved Derek Carr even more, I guess.
He's about to trade him. He loves him all right. Tell you what, man.
No, but
Derek Carr guy, get him out.
But what I was going to bring up with the whole coaching carousel is we have a defensive coordinator job open. I haven't heard a single peep about it.
It's funny, too, because the Senior Bowl is in a couple weeks, and the Lions are going to need a DC for that because their staff is coaching the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. They haven't said a single word. People are getting hired left and right. The Lions haven't even been in the conversation.
There was a tweet a couple days ago that the Lions were interviewing some Patriots
of course
assistant, and then 2 minutes
it was
later,
probably Judge.
No, it wasn't. It was someone else.
Quarterbacks coach is the defensive coordinator. I wouldn't doubt it.
No, it was someone else on the defense, but it was rumored that the Lions were going to interview him, and then a couple minutes later, it's like, actually, just talk to my Lions source. They are not interviewing him, so it's like, okay.
Thank God, honestly, another Patriots guy.
But I mean, last year we didn't hear any rumors about Darrell Bevel interviewing for the OC job, and he got it. So
yeah, but I mean, like I said, people are getting hired left and right. They should at least be doing something right now.
I'll say this about Patricia: for all the crap I've talked about him, I will give his DC hiring a shot because Darrell Bevel, home run hire.
You think so?
You kidding me? Heck yeah.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Lions offense was top 5 last year with Matthew Stafford dying in week 8.
Yeah, I will say, having all these other quarterbacks come in and try their shot, they're scoring 30 points a night. It's
for Jeff Driscoll and David Blau to be starting at quarterback and still have the Lions in the game offensively. Yeah, I think the scheme is pretty good. But yeah, I mean,
and they're starting running back on the in a suit.
You got Bo Scarborough running out there, Chris Lacey across from Kenny Galladay,
and they're still scoring 24 points a night. Yeah,
when the Lions were healthy, they were putting up 30 points a game, 26 points per game actually is the actual stat. They were averaging 26 points a game,
which is
insane.
Yeah, if you compare that to their 2015 season when they were scoring 14 points a game under what's his name, Jim Bob.
Well, you look at last year, 2018. Yeah, it's crazy. But then you look at the defense this past year.
Yeah,
that's why you got to take defense first 4 picks.
Yeah,
you gotta get a pass rusher. You gotta get a D tackle, especially when Snacks probably retires.
You go with what's his name, the cornerback,
Okudah.
Okudah.
I like Okudah.
Pick him third?
If you don't trade Slay, you would have, hypothetically, Slay, Okudah, Coleman in the slot. That's sexy.
Where do you go with the first pick if you're the Lions? Realistically, not Chase Young.
I trade down.
You trade down.
I call Miami, who's at 5, get an extra second from them, switch 3 to 5. And then at 5, I would take the best defensive player available. If Jeff Kuda somehow slips past the Giants, you take him. If you like Derek Brown that much, take him. If you like Isaiah Simmons so much, the linebacker from Clemson, who is getting comparisons as a linebacker to Sean Taylor, rest in peace, and Brian Urlacher, you do you. Just take defense. Don't you dare touch Jerry Jeudy. No.
You don't want a slot. You don't want to push Marvin Jones into the slot.
No. Don't touch offense in the first 2-3 rounds. You can take a wide receiver in the 5th round. I'm fine with that. In the first,
honestly, that's probably where the Lions shine is taking offensive players in the first round, or in the 5th round. I mean,
Hey, Bob Quinn, 5th round's his money round.
Yeah.
Guys like Jamal Agnew. Who's the one that... A.O., Emmanuel Warrior, who had a pick week 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the guys.
What would you do with the 3rd pick? Well, actually, I already know the answer. You kind of said it already.
Well, yeah, but that's under the guise of not getting or not having Quintricia around. Being that they are around,
You're Bob Quinn in your awful non-iron dress shirt.
I think you take best player available, not named Tua. I don't know, not because that would be Jerry Jeudy, wouldn't it?
It would be probably Okuda, I'd say.
Okuda?
Yeah. I like Jeff Okuda.
I just don't like drafting a corner with the 3rd pick.
But for a guy like Jeff Okuda, it's worth it, I think. I mean, this is a guy getting comparisons to Jalen Ramsey, which obviously we know Jalen Ramsey is like probably the 2nd or 3rd best corner in football. So.
I think you at least sweeten the deal with Miami, make them desperate like that. You like, oh, they are going to get Tua unless we trade for it.
I will take Tua. The Giants are going to take Tua, even though that makes no sense.
Daniel Jones is a scrub. They're going to take Tua. They're going to build that, or we're going to take Tua. We have deals for Stafford lined up right now.
I have inside sources that are saying the Giants are getting calls on number 4, and they are going to move the pick. Someone will take your boy. Give me everything you got.
We're trading the Giants Stafford. We're taking Tua.
Sure.
And then Miami's like, oh, okay. What do you want?
Sure.
And that's how you do it.
Give me all your picks.
You just threaten them with a wooden sword. You storm freaking Hard Rock.
If you don't give me your picks,
what?
I will come down there and find you.
And yank a tooth out.
Oh my God. So you would take best player available, who would probably be Okuda.
Yeah, but I think I'd be looking to, like you said, trade down before I do that. I think that's probably the Lions' best bet.
Do you want Jerry Jeudy?
No, I just like his name, and I like the fact that he's a talented wide receiver. I think he's going to be special.
I will say this. Excuse me. Kenny Galladay and Jerry Jeudy would be sick. But wide receivers are least concerned right now.
That'd be like having two Julio Joneses.
That's like having 2 really good tight ends. Oh, wait.
We do.
We do. We just don't use them. So, yeah. But I'm telling you, Troy, I know you probably won't do this, but watch. Are you going to watch the national championship game?
I'll probably try to catch it. It'll probably
at
be...
least watch...
What night is it?
It's next Monday.
Next Monday? Yeah, I'll be at work. I'll try and watch it on my phone.
At least watch the highlights. I guarantee you Isaiah Simmons will be in like 10 highlights.
Really?
Watch him. You
think that's the guy to go?
Isaiah Simmons is so Matt Patricia. He is versatile as shit. He's a linebacker who, first of all, he's probably going to kill the 40 at the combine. He's like lightning quick.
Sweet. So he's not Tease Tabor. Good.
He's fast. He's versatile. I mean versatile. This is a linebacker who you can drop back in coverage, you can rush him, or you can put him on the outside, a corner, have him be with a wide receiver, or you can put him in center field as a safety and be like, do your thing. This guy can go anywhere on the defense. Obviously outside D tackle, but
even then, rush him up the middle. Why not?
3-man rush. I've seen a lot more 3-man rushes over the past couple of weeks, and it's just disgusting.
Where was that all season?
No, God, I'm just watching 3-man rushes. Like Georgia in the Sugar Bowl was sending 3 all day. It's like, stop giving Matt Patricia fans like something to be prideful of. Look at Georgia. Look at Kirby Smart. He's rushing 3.
Oh my God. And then didn't the Lions actually blitz 40 times against the Packers too, just because
they blitzed very rarely all season, but when they did, it worked.
Go figure.
I'll get it.
Go figure.
I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't understand how that's possible.
I don't know.
3-man rushes are what wins championships, right?
Matt Patricia would probably agree.
Yeah, this isn't the 2014 Lions where you can just use your whole entire defensive line and then just let everybody drop into coverage. This isn't the same team.
Oh,
I don't think he realizes that.
Anywho, since I kind of brought up the national championship game, let's end this week's show by doing a little college football playoff talk.
LSU Clemson.
I bet the Tigers are going to win.
I agree.
But do you want to talk specifically about the national championship game, or like what specifically do you want to talk about with regards to the playoff?
I did have a topic about how they're in talks to make it a 8-team
That's
playoff.
right, yeah.
Or is it 8-team or 6-team? I forget which one. 8-team.
8.
What is your full opinion on that?
Absolutely not.
I like the idea of a 6-team playoff, if anything.
And give the top 2 seeds a bye?
Top 2 seeds a bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, and have it be Power 5 with a 1 at large. I think that's how you do it.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I think that allows...
I'll take that. I'll take that over 8. 8's too many.
8 is too many.
8 is way too many. Because even in this year's playoffs, like, there were 3 really good teams, and then there was one team that just automatically got in because everyone else couldn't have gotten in. Like 2 lost Georgia, 2 lost Bama, 2 lost Oregon. They weren't getting in. It was going to be Oklahoma who won the Big 12 at 1 loss. But Oklahoma got boat raced by LSU in the semifinal game. It just goes to show you they should not have been in the playoff, really.
No.
And
I think you let in a team like Bama as your 6th seed, and there you go.
as like a wild card,
As your wild card.
I don't hate that idea. I'll agree with you there. But 8? Hell no. I think it's Jim Harbaugh that suggested 16 teams.
That's just because he wanted in.
Hell no.
It's because he always finishes the season at like ranked 14.
Absolutely not. No way.
And John has left. I think we're going a little over it for him. He's like, all right, I'm done. But I do like talking.
How much sports can they talk?
No, but honestly, by the way, because we're not going to be drafting Tua in this draft, I'm hoping Clemson wins.
Hell no.
Because guess what?
Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence. Build up his draft stock.
Build it up. How much more does it need to be built up? There are people
I
saying
want
last
the Lions to suck ass next year and draft Trevor Lawrence to replace Matthew Stafford.
guys like Mel Kiper Jr. were saying last year, if he was eligible to declare last year as a freshman, he would have been the number 1 overall pick over Kyler Murray, which is just insane because he's a freshman.
Yeah, it is nuts. It's like a Johnny Manziel type, except better. I think
Well,
Johnny Manziel would have been going
Let's-
first overall in his freshman season, wouldn't he?
Yeah, let's settle down there, Johnny Football. But yeah, I mean, 6 teams is fine.
I like 6
8? Hell no.
because you got 6 teams. You know, who would be the teams to go this? Like, if that was the case, wouldn't it
So-
be like Oregon in the Pac-12?
So if it was this year, it would be LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, Oregon. What conference am I missing? Oklahoma.
Big 12,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, and then
Right?
one at large would be
LSU,
like
Ohio
Alabama.
State, Clemson, Oklahoma, Bama, and then an at-large team, which probably would have been
No,
Bama.
Bama, and then
Or if you want to put
Georgia.
the American in there, you could have put I think it was Memphis that won. But then again, at the same time too, Memphis would have gone hypothetically into the playoff without a head coach.
yeah, and then went up against like freaking what is it, LSU?
Yeah, that's not a good matchup whatsoever. I like 4 though. I like 4 right now because
Yeah.
it makes every game mean more. You know,
I agree.
like the second you hit 1 loss, let alone 2,
But-
you feel like you're screwed.
I
And I
think-
love that.
I think here's where you got to balance it. I think 6 would be perfect because it does make every game mean more, including the bowl game, like the regular bowl game. Like your conference championship means even more if there's 6 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Like every conference championship means something at that point. And I think that's what you got to do. I think the conference championship should be looked at as the first round of the playoff.
Yeah. Well, it already kind of does, because the teams playing in it are playing for the playoff.
Yeah, but I mean for every conference. You're looking at that one conference that doesn't have a guy in the race, and then you're just like, well, that doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
It just mean much for that school, but it doesn't mean much nationally.
I agree with you, but it's one of those, he's right. He's right. You're both right. I like 4. I like 6, but I think I like 4 more.
Okay. Yeah. But as far as the game itself is concerned, this one, LSU Clemson.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Why do you think I'm wearing this today?
You're LSU?
Yeah. First of all,
I'll be
this
Clemson.
is a nice shirt. I mean, look at it. It's long sleeve. It's
It's
white.
nice. Pristine.
Got the tiger eye in the middle.
I don't like white shirts. You get them dirty too easily. The collar gets yellow after like 30 uses.
I'm a clean guy. It's all right. I don't do my dirty business in white clothes. Let's say that.
That's true. Yeah.
That's why I always wear black. This would have been a nice way to wrap up the episode, but John left. So, I guess let's keep going with a little.
Yeah, why not? John left. Let's party. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Let's go.
With some sports topics.
Let's just get up and start dancing in front of the camera. Want to talk a little Michigan State?
Let's end it.
John.
No, I mean, it's
How's that bowl game against Bama?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it for the sake of I don't want Michigan fans coming after me for
How's Chris doing?
shitty they were doing.
How's Chris doing?
I don't know. He's been pretty silent about Michigan as of late. I don't think he
44-10. Thanks, Chris.
I remember you texted me one time saying Michigan is a top 10 team. And then I forwarded that to Chris just to see his reaction.
2 years ago.
No, you said this like at the beginning of the season when they were like on a hot streak. You're like Michigan is.
They
like
were never on a hot streak until the second half of the season.
Or you know what I meant. When the hot streak happened.
I don't remember saying they were a top 10 team. Not this year.
You said like they were number 10 or like number 9.
I personally don't remember saying that about this year's team. Last year, I said they were a playoff team until they done goofed against Ohio State, obviously. But no, this year, I mean, I hit it out of the park. I said they're going to win out and then get crushed by Ohio State, lose their bowl game.
I could have sworn you said, I don't know, whatever you said.
I might have given
You said something maybe like top 20. I don't know. You said something like positive about them.
Maybe it was after
and then
the Michigan.
I forwarded it to Chris, and he goes, "That's not good enough. They're way better than Tony's giving them credit for."
Maybe it was after the Michigan State game.
I think it was.
I'm like
maybe a week or two after that.
Maybe I said like they're a top 15 team. I don't know.
But whatever it was, he said they're way better than he's giving them credit for. And then that was the last thing I heard from him about Michigan.
Well, after you get curb stomped by Ohio State the way they did, I would be quiet too.
Yeah.
You don't see me talking trash about Michigan State. You wonder why.
I was when you actually brought up Michigan State, I thought you were going to talk about the basketball game they just played.
I want to talk about that too.
Oh, okay.
I
thought that's what you were going to start about.
really want to talk about that.
It's Juwan Howard's first game against a rival.
Juwan, all right, you want to talk about it? Let's go. Juwan Howard looked like he was about to cry. I'm going to be flat out with you. When he got that technical, ran out on the court, he looked like he was about to cry. And it put the biggest smile on my face. Listen, I respect the Michigan basketball program because of John Beilein and also Siren. Woo! One of their players I'm good buddies with, Luke Wilson.
Oh, sweet.
So, I respect the Michigan basketball program. And to an extent, Michigan football too, because I low-key need
I wouldn't give them respect.
No, I low-key need... No, listen. I low-key need to be careful what I say about them because I do have 2 former Michigan State football players that follow me on Twitter.
Yeah.
I need to be careful, but I'm not going to, completely have a filter. Obviously.
No, but, I mean...
I respect the 2 guys that follow me. I won't say their names for privacy, even though I just threw Luke out, but Luke's my guy. But Michigan football, screw him. Jim Harbaugh's a clown. That's a picture of Jim right there.
I don't think they can really see the. It's a picture of a clown.
They can see the legs.
Just a big fat clown.
Yeah, you can see the polka dotted pants on that clown there. Yeah, it's a clown.
And it's Jim Harbaugh. Anywho, I respect Michigan basketball, but at the same time, seeing State just absolutely whoop the crap out of them. I'm gonna pull up the video. I've been coming.
Don't. We don't need that.
I know what he's gonna play.
Did you see the new Booger video?
Booger. What's his name?
McFarlane.
Yeah, I was about to say Booger McFarlane, but it
Yeah,
didn't sound right.
during the playoff game on Saturday. So John, there's this color commentator on ESPN named Booger McFarlane. During one of the football games on Saturday, he drew, he was trying to draw what was happening during a play. He drew a dick on the on the camera.
Intentionally or unintentionally?
Unintentionally.
That's hilarious.
He was drawing out a play, and he drew 2 circles and then the dong.
He should have just embraced it and just kept going.
Well, yeah.
Started throwing details in.
He did.
Shading.
And then he went this way, and it's dots coming off the tip.
And then while he was drawing this, John, he said, and I quote, "These 2 guys are coming," and
dude, come on. Okay,
so
this
serious.
is unintentional.
It's unintentional.
I don't believe
sound that way.
that. I don't believe that.
I'll send you the tweet.
No, it had to be intentional. There's no way.
I'll send you the tweet.
I don't need the tweet. I'm just saying it was intentional.
These 2 guys are coming. This one's bodying the other one.
Actually, do send me the tweet. I do want to see that.
These 2 guys are coming, and he said something else.
They're coming.
They're coming.
And they're coming fast.
And they're coming very fast and very hard. Okay, we're done there.
Okay.
I've been coming.
Oh, sweet Christ.
Whoa, I almost sent it to the wrong John. Whoa, that would have been bad.
Wait, which other? Oh, no.
Johnny.
Oh.
That would have been rough. But I mean, me and Johnny are cool, though, so he'd probably find it funny.
Oh, big Johnny Kane would have gotten a big surprise.
Oh, Tony's texting me.
Oh!
Whoa! He's like, all right.
Oh, that's what he said. Yeah. Here, I'll play it right here.
Come inside. These 2 guys are coming. They're both gonna come inside.
Dude, that's hilarious. That's awesome. I'm glad that happened.
What were we talking about before?
Michigan State.
Oh, yeah. What Booger drew on ESPN last weekend. That's what Cassius Winston did to Michigan.
Oh, I thought you were about to say that's what I was doing while watching.
No, he pulled out his wiener and smacked Michigan with it. No, Cassius Winston, he's my Connor Cook. He is probably my favorite MSU basketball player ever.
Connor Cook wasn't a Michigan State basketball player.
Connor Cook is my favorite Michigan State football player ever.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was about to say, oh, he's your Connor Cook. What does that mean?
Think about that for a minute. For all the good Michigan State basketball players I've personally seen, Jaron, Miles, Denzel. Denzel's a big one.
Denzel we saw in person. Very close.
Yeah, at a Bulls game, but I never met the guy. I did meet Cassius, by the way. Woo!
Woo!
I interviewed him, actually.
We need a siren.
I interviewed him, actually.
I don't know. Okay.
I'm dying over here. Okay. Yeah, Cassius, he's my kind of cook. Love that guy. Career high 32 points and 9 assists against Michigan.
And I don't have a Michigan equivalent to any player.
Trey Burke?
I'm not in love with any Michigan player. I actually do like Tim Hardaway Jr. a lot, but that's only after he went to the NBA.
Not Trey Burke? I feel
No.
like all Michigan basketball fans are united with their love for Trey Burke.
I loved him for a couple games.
What about Mo Wagner?
You know what? Mo Wagner's pretty sweet. I like Mo Wagner.
I hated playing Mo, but he was a beast at Michigan.
He was a beast. Every time I was watching a Michigan game, I'm only like focused on Mo Wagner. That's how much I was a fan of him. But yeah.
You should be a big Luke Wilson guy now.
Yeah, just because you're a Luke Wilson guy?
Yeah.
All right, maybe I'll give him a shot.
But yeah, Michigan fans were crying on Twitter. They're like, wait till we get Isaiah Livers back. Which, I mean, if Isaiah Livers would have played, we would not have won by 18. But
You would have won by 2. That's the difference.
man, it's just Cassius is a beast, and he lives to beat Michigan, and I love that. Because Michigan State football used to live to beat Michigan. Now they could probably.
Too bad he just started living.
Cassius? What do you mean living?
Because last year they didn't beat him.
They swept Michigan last year.
Didn't they go? No, I'm thinking of 2 years ago.
It's 2 years ago in Wagner when you went to the national
that's right.
championship.
Yeah.
You toasted our overrated asses that year. I'm not gonna lie. That was the year we lost to Syracuse. Yeah, that year was a disaster. Michigan whooped us. We lost to Syracuse in the round of 32. Thanks, Tom. But this year, or last year, excuse me, different story. Swept Michigan, got to the Final Four. Now this year, I mean, things started off rough for Michigan State, but they are now starting to play like the team we thought they were going to be. Preseason number 1. They're 4-0 in conference play, and there's a reason for that. They're looking really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta, give all the props in the world to Michigan State for how they've fought through all the trials and tribulations they had to start off the season.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, the notable one is Cassius's unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
But also on the court, Joshua Langford out for the year again.
Yeah, you would have thought that would be the end of your season when you lost him, and then
Last year, I thought it was.
Yeah.
I love Josh Langford, and he's a beast. He was a beast, but I mean, we showed last year we can win without him. I mean, if he was here, we'd be better. But obviously, he ain't here, and the journey goes.
Yep. And yeah, you got to give all the props in the world. Even Michigan fans should be giving the props to Michigan State.
Basketball, I think it's different. I think basketball is different than football.
Yeah, I think you find a lot more Michigan State fans Michigan fans that kind of cross the border into just being state of Michigan fans when it comes to basketball.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I think they respect Michigan basketball. Because even you probably didn't see the Divided We Stand documentary before the Michigan State football game this past year. FS1, they did a documentary about the Michigan State rivalry, and the storyline was talking about the two rivalries in football and basketball. Football, I mean, we both know this, but like they described football,
it's bloody.
The rivalry has always been a complete fight.
Yeah,
like whether it was Jim Harbaugh and Mark, or Mark and Polk, or Mark and whoever.
Mark in the coaching carousel.
Yeah, there's always been a heated I hate you kind of thing. And I feel that because I hate Michigan football.
Mm-hmm.
But Michigan basketball is kind of different because, like I just said, I respect John Beilein. And John Beilein and Tom Izzo even kind of had a little friendship.
Yeah.
Not friendship. They had
it was a camaraderie.
It was a respected
rivals.
It's a respected rivalry in basketball.
Yeah, like you and Tom.
We don't have a rivalry. He just doesn't like my opinions.
Yeah, I notified him. I told him. I was like, you better watch out for the episode. I'm not going to say much more.
He responded back?
Yeah, he did, but it's Snapchat, so I forgot.
Let's see.
I forgot what he said.
Let's see if he texted my Snap group chat. He didn't.
Oh, God.
No, he didn't.
But, yeah, I mean, is there anything else you wanted to cover in this?
Ohio State basketball is overrated.
I think they've always been overrated. I don't think there was ever a moment where they were good, or like they were accurately.
They were
good.
top 5 in like December.
Accurately good. I mean,
Yeah. No, I think we got everything pretty much out.
Yeah. I mean, it was been a rough 2 weeks, and we missed a lot, but I think we covered everything we needed.
A little bit of Tiger breaking news.
Oh yeah, they signed a couple guys that are actually worth talking about a little bit.
That's not what I was going to say.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They canceled Tiger Fest.
Because it's just going to be a matter of like, who are you? Who am I taking a picture with?
Well, not only that, it's in January and it's cold. But
It's always been cold.
they didn't cancel Tiger Fest. They just moved it to the summer.
In the middle of the season? Why?
I
That's
don't
stupid.
know. I don't know.
They should be training and they're just taking pictures with fans for an entire day.
I imagine it'll probably be during like the All-Star break or something.
Oh yeah, when there's nobody that's going.
Right. Yeah, they moved it to the summer. It was Tony Paulo of the Detroit News who tweeted this, and it was funny. He's like, "Oh, cool! So when the Tigers are like 30 games under 500, we're all sick of them. We get to go down to America, take pictures with them," which is true. But
You're just gonna be like, so, what's wrong with you now? why are you batting 220?
yeah, like when I go to Tiger Fest in the summer. Like usually when I take pictures with players, like you went with me one year.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, have a good season. What the hell am I supposed to say to them now? Yeah, I know you're batting like 180, but hopefully it gets better. Yeah, I know your OPS is under 600, but
Dude. Just choke up on the bat a little bit, dude.
would you stop throwing a slider?
You're striking out way too much, dude. Take a couple balls for
Hey,
once.
listen, Loki, thanks for the picture. You have a noodle bat.
Dude, your freaking swings are, you might as well be bunting. you just critique them the entire time you're picturing with them.
What were your thoughts on Tiger Fest when I took you a couple years ago?
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
What didn't you like about it?
You're waiting in a line for 7 hours and you're taking pictures with guys that, you know, like if you're lucky, you might take a picture with somebody you know. Or somebody that
I
you
was just
care
gonna
about.
say, I feel like most of the people you just kind of don't know them.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Nick Castellanos, sweet. Like, and then everybody else is like, oh, it's the guy they just called up last September.
Last year's Tiger Fest was pretty cool, though. I think you've seen these pictures before, but my Xbox gamer tag is Buck Farmer. And
I know you had an obsession with Buck Farmer for a good 3-4 years there.
Dude, Buck Farmer is a funny name. Buck Farmer's not bad either. He had a good year last year. Career low ERA, like 3.4 or something. But yeah, I met Buck Farmer. Got to take a picture with him, like holding my phone. I had my Xbox gamer tag.
Okay.
That was funny. Do you remember Phil Koch?
Yeah.
I met Phil
Oh,
Koch.
of course I remember Phil Koch. That's dope. And Andy Dirks.
Andy, Mr. Real Estate.
Dude.
And then Kirk Gibson.
Oh my gosh.
I met,
Dude,
I met Miggy, Jim Leland, Al Kaline. Tiger Fest was fun last year, but
Yeah, I mean,
I
you
get what,
you have to get lucky in Tiger Fest. Otherwise,
I
you're gonna
was
be
lucky
sitting there.
last year.
Yeah.
But I do understand people like you that hate it. If you're not like a big baseball guy, waiting in line in freezing cold temperatures, to meet players you really don't know that much about, yeah, kind of sucks.
And that's the only thing you're doing.
yeah.
Otherwise,
That's the only thing I do.
You go to the clubhouse and then look at, where everybody
Pisses.
where everybody pisses from afar. You can't even like go up to their lockers or anything.
Can't go in the showers though. They tarp those off.
Oh, you can't?
At least not in the visiting locker room.
You know what? They should be, the visiting locker rooms where everybody should just be able to do whatever. Like, you should be able to just walk in the room and just do whatever you want.
You want to leave a turd in this guy's locker? Do it.
Yeah, do it. Why not? Why not? It's the opposing team. Who cares?
The AL Central division winners have celebrated in that visiting locker room the past 2 or 3 years.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's just going to smell like champagne when you walk in there.
Indians, Twins, yeah.
Champagne and piss.
Champagne, piss, and sweat.
Champagne, piss, sweat, and tears.
Dude, locker rooms are low-key disgusting.
Why did you have that look on your face?
Breaking
like we didn't
news.
know that?
Locker
like-
rooms are gross.
Like, when I was interning at Fox 2,
Dude, I don't know if you know this or not. I would not lick the floor of a locker
Every
room.
single locker room I've been in smells like shit.
like while I was an intern at Fox 2, one of our assignments, we went to a Michigan State game, and I was able to go in the locker room with the guy I went with, the camera guy, and I was able to like hold the mic during interviews. Man, it just stunk in there. Like, obviously it would, but
That's what you're striving for, Tony. I don't know if you know that or not.
that's not the job I want to do.
Well, it
This
kind of
is-
comes with the job you want to do.
No. This
Like,
is
yeah,
what,
like freaking,
I don't want to be a news person.
Yeah, Jeff Rieger that goes down to the games and sits in the locker room and
Hey,
waits for
don't.
somebody to talk.
Hey, did I tell?
I'm not shit talking Jeff
no.
Rieger. I'm just saying that's the kind of job you want to do. That's what you got to do.
No, but
Jeff Rieger has his own talk show, and he has to also go down to the games and talk to people in the locker rooms.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's dirty.
Tony, you want to start doing that? You let me know.
Go in the locker room.
We can make it happen. Yeah, just give me a media pass.
Does Tony even have a media pass?
I don't know, but if he gets his hands on one, I got a camera and a mic.
That is true.
It'll look good, and you'll look legit.
Who are you
too.
guys with? Quasar Vision.
Who?
Okay.
All right.
Quasar Vision Media.
Oh, sweet.
You wear the you
Again, who?
Who?
Yeah, just Snoop Dogg your ass.
Who? But I told you that I met Jeff Rieger though.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah, he seems like a really sweet dude.
At the Pistons game, I was like, "Hey Jeff, where's Mr. Gores?" He's like, "I don't know, but he let me borrow his leather today because he's wearing a leather jacket." I started dying. And then just out of nowhere, he goes, "By the way, Tony, I like the videos." I'm like, "Thanks."
Nice, nice. You're getting some props from the pros.
None of them will ever compare to Johnny Kane though. That's my guy.
That's your guy.
Even though I just almost sent him a Booger McFarland cock.
Hey Johnny, look at this.
Hey Johnny, look at this funny video.
I know you're on the road right now. Look at this.
Yeah, real funny.
Yeah, real funny, Tony. Block you.
I gave you my number and this is what you send me? Block.
All right. I think we've basically tapped
when
out
we
on
start when
everything.
we start talking about Booger McFarland and wieners, that's our time to go.
Yeah, and we talked about that about a half hour ago.
Boogers, farts, and wieners.
Dude, we did 1:40 on this podcast today.
I dig it.
Holy shit.
Thank you guys for listening this week of Aggressively Speaking. Again, we apologize for not being here over the past couple of weeks as I cough.
That's the reason why?
Yeah. Well, don't just look at me.
No, yeah, no, I was doing that
We've
for
all
2
been
weeks.
sick. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening, and have a great rest of your week.